Can you help me, Jake?
I don't think so.
What? Why?
Because you're a liar.
Jake and Tom. Tom and Jake. Jake Tom are easily one of the two most recognizable characters of Disventure Camp, and it's not even close. I mean, seriously, they dominate most of the greetings, and if you really want even more proof, just go check Twitter. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of viral posts that just have both of them in it, and a lot of people don't even know who they are, but again, it's kind of like Owen from Total Drama, where you just know it's Disventure Camp. And if you still don't believe me, they literally raised over like, what, 85k? Just so people can watch them get married in like, what, 4 episodes, which is just insane. Anyways, before Tom Jake Season 2 happens, I figure let's talk about the ship as a whole before it comes out. This will be split into 2 parts, as I think All-Stars is a different beast in general, but before we talk about the ship and how they came to be, let's talk about them before they met. Starting off with Tom, who as a kid always wanted to help people the way his mom helped him with his abusive father. I don't watch too many greetings, by the way, so if I don't mention anything, I'm sorry. Moving on to Jake, who was raised in a seemingly conservative family and a very traditional family, which I'd imagine would be tough for anyone who is queer because typically those families do not support people of the LGBTQ. He lost his grandfather at a young age and was very close to his grandmother, who he felt truly understood him. However, going into the season, there are 2 things holding Jake back. One, by the fact that he was cheated on by his recent ex, so he clearly has a lot of trust issues, and 2, his grandmother, who is very sick and couldn't see very often due to the fact that they weren't allowed to visit. Now let's finally talk about when we finally get to see them interact, because they are placed on the same teal team together. They make a fire, and while they have one of their many conversations, Jake is curious to see Tom without his mask on. Tom is still in spy mode to investigate, so he just kind of brushes it off. It wasn't until episode 3 where Jake gives the team a penalty and Tom comforts Jake about his grandfather, and it's a very sweet moment. Not gonna lie, while watching season 1, I was more invested in characters like Alec because, well, look at him, and Ellie and Fiore, but now I really do appreciate them and love the development between these two. They're cute, and I'm honestly a Tom Jake stan, at least in season 1. Episode 4, we get to see Jake give Tom a compliment about his eyes, and Tom really doesn't know how to react, and it's honestly a very cute moment, and Tom suggests that him and Jake go to a sushi restaurant together. In episode 5, Jake will get bad news from his brother on the phone saying that his grandma unfortunately passed away. Tom was there for him and even made sure he didn't do that much in the challenge. This would low-key be a blessing since Jake got to bond with Miriam, someone who he had wanted to get to know. Unfortunately, the sweet moments between these two would pause because Gret exposes the fact that Tom is a spy, and once Jake realizes the truth, they argue and then later don't speak to each other. Until Ellie joins the team and convinces Jake to finally go and talk to him. Unfortunately, Tom has to end things with Jake because he acts so unpredictably. This conversation is later followed by Tom telling Jake that he got fired because of him yelling at him. This leads Tom to just yell at him, saying that you don't understand and just to go away. After Tom calms down, they both apologize, and Tom shows Jake his face in shame, but Jake doesn't care about his scars and says that he looks good, and they share their first kiss on screen. Unfortunately, the happiness for these two wouldn't last very long. In maybe my favorite episode of Disventure Camp, Tom finds the totem and tells Ellie about it, because this is important for later, by the way. After the challenge, Ellie uses Jake's trauma against him to manipulate him about Tom. She says that Tom is cheating on him, and Jake lashes out on Tom, and Tom even confides in Miriam, saying that he's starting to like Jake less and less. They don't talk until Tribal, where Fiore admits what Ellie said was a lie, and Jake says sorry and begs Tom to play the idol on him. Despite Tom being hurt about Jake not believing him or even talking to him, plays the idol on him only to really get taken out himself. And Tom is pissed off, telling Jake that they're done and to never speak to him again. And honestly, that is a fair crash out. In the finale, Jake says that Tom and him haven't spoken, and to cap out the season, Tom tells Jake that they should wait until they are both ready. Honestly, I really do like Tom and Jake in season 1 as a ship, but also as characters. Despite not liking Jake initially when I first watched the season, I think now understanding a lot of Jake's reasoning of why he does what he does, again, makes me find him to be a very sympathetic character. Again, you can dislike a character's actions, but you can't say that they're poorly written. Again, I like how Tom is a very mysterious character, but once he does open up to Jake, he becomes a very endearing character to watch, and again, his scars make him a very interesting character. I also love the episode where they're together during the whole video game episode. I found them to be very cute there. Again, I understand why I disliked them at first, and I understand why a lot of people still dislike them, but again, in season 1, they're incredible characters, and again, rewatching this made me love them even more. And that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Expect part 2 to come out relatively soon, but if it doesn't, then expect it to come whenever it comes out. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, peace out. Love you guys.